out a good shirt this week. Gonna go out to dinner. Have a steak dinner with some old friends. I'm trying to get out a little more often. Work. Had my final LAFC local broadcast. We'll see where it goes from here, but I love that job. But, getting to go to that stadium with those fans, with those people that I work with. Hopefully we get to continue it in some way, shape, or form. Afterwards, went with the lady to Rufus Du Sol. Great show at the Hollywood Bowl. If you're ever in LA, book a show there, whatever's going on. A lot of time you can bring food and drink. It's an iconic place and so just chill and relaxing. But that was a great show. A lot of people watching. I was the oldest person there, I think, by 10 years. Trying to stay young at heart. Hello, fellow kids. Well, I am the OG, so we got to practice what we preach. We got to speak from the heart. And it was, by the way, an exceptional week for Americans in Europe. Maybe the best week in this season. Even if you go back to the European dates, Matt Turner starting for Arsenal, making one big save, because that's all he faced, but he made it. That's a sign of a good goalkeeper. That is, who is it? These great Brazilian keepers, because the Brazilian teams would have it in the end all the time, and you'd have to make one save. You better make that save. That's a tough job. You could be the volume goalkeeper, you save 10, 11 shots, or you could be one shot, but make it. It's a tough gig. Jordan Pefok getting a nice win, 10-man Union Berlin over Malmo. He was excellent in the sense he wasn't going to get a lot of play, but he stayed out there and he was absolutely exhausted, but he performed a role. And then you get to the weekend, the return of Christian Pulisic. Yes. Let's not get crazy, USMNT Twitter, okay? Let's not get crazy. He scored a goal. He played well against Wolves at home. Let's see him do it on an extended run. But some people, some accounts out there, I'm not going to mention them, are just some really silly things. But it's good. It's a step in the right direction. A lot of guys returning from injuries. Cameron Carter-Vickers, Tim Weah, Yunus Musa. Chris Richards, not yet. Getting a little nervous about that one. But the guys that missed the camp in September all rolling back into play. This right now, if we could freeze this moment, it would be great. You had Josh Sargent scoring, Ricardo Pepi scoring twice, Austin Trusting scoring twice. I'm supposed to do my top 5. I'll see if I have time for that this week. So all of that happening, and it got me to thinking as we wait for the announcement of the 26-man roster for the World Cup on November the 9th. With the way our forwards are playing, we all think we're going to bring in 3 because it's a weaker position than most, right? We have great wingers, so you don't want to sell that short. You want to have enough midfielders. The forward situation, since it's one position really, do you bring in 4? Well, I am going to tell you how that will work here on the Soccer OG. Check out the Soccer OG podcast, where all podcasts are available. New one is out there featuring the great Alexi Lalas. We talk about the end of the MLS local broadcast, the MLS regular season, what Fox is going to be doing for the World Cup. Pretty exciting stuff. And we will also talk about the U.S.'s chances and what's been going on with their perception. Because it hasn't been great. Certainly the September window didn't help. And like and subscribe here. Hit that like button. It makes a big difference. Thumbs up city. So how could 4 strikers work? Well, they have to be pretty flexible. They have to fill a role. You got to fill a specific role where there will be need. Because right now, you don't just fill the roster, I don't think, with guys that are just there to, fill out the numbers and do some jobs and have no intention of playing. You want to play everyone there with the intent that they might get in the game in some way, shape, or form. And there's a practical way to get all 4 of these guys in. The big winner by doing that is Jordan Pefok. Didn't get called into September. I would encourage you to listen to the Soccer OG podcast with Meg Swanick. It was 2 weeks ago. And I asked her about Jordan Pefok, and she seems to think that he is going to get called in November. I've heard it from 2 other very good sources. And she broke it down and said, if you listen to how Greg Berhalter, or what he said after he was asked about Pefok, he said, we know what he can do. This is September. I'm going to try some other things. That leaves the door open. The door is ajar for Jordan Pefok based on what Greg Berhalter said, right? It may not happen, but I'm going to tell you why it could happen. Now, there are 4 guys that we have in mind, so we want to accommodate all 4 of them. Let's go over Jordan Pefok, Union Berlin. We talked about the Europa League success. They are back into first place in the Bundesliga. That's right, first in Bundesliga play. And we're into like 2 months of it now, a little over 2 months. There is, by the way, every time I watch Union Berlin, I tune in for Jordan Pefok. He has 3 goals this season. But Geraldo Becker, the guy he plays alongside, always grabs your attention. He has 6 goals. And he's from Suriname. I think he's Dutch-born, plays for Suriname. I get excited because there's another exciting talent from CONCACAF. Suriname is in South America, but it plays in CONCACAF. We're happy to have them. We gather all those that others don't want. Who knows? Geraldo Becker, man, take a look at that. But Jordan Pefok's been excellent for the best team in the Bundesliga right now. Then you have, I'm not doing these in any particular order, Ricardo Pepi, who made the move to Groningen in the Dutch Eredivisie from Augsburg in the Bundesliga, and it could not have gone any better. He has 4 goals in 4 games. The current leader in the Dutch league, goal scoring, is Katie Gakpo of PSV. He has 9. The second leading scorer is Danilo of Feyenoord. So Ricardo Pepi in a month is already 2 goals away from second. If he keeps scoring the way he is, he's going to be the top scorer in the Netherlands by January. Remember, we break for the World Cup. Otherwise, it could happen sooner. We'll see. The fans there love him. It's beautiful to see. He's been adopted in. He looks happy. And I'll talk to you about his position with Greg Berhalter because I think he is Greg Berhalter's number 1 choice at the number 9. Josh Sargent scored again. He has 7 goals in 13 games in the EFL Championship. In the case with Pepi and Sargent, you see guys that have found their right level, league-wide, club-wise. Pepi maybe not ready for the Bundesliga. Josh Sargent didn't quite get it going in the Premier League, but Norwich tied for first, 3-way tie to get promoted back up. They are the yo-yo club. You guys still play with yo-yos? Probably not. Something that goes up and down. Norwich goes to the Premier League, goes to the Championship. Goes to the Premier League, goes to the Championship. It's good for Sargent because he'll be a big part. I think he's moving ahead of Teemu Pukki, the Finnish striker who was always in front of him, but they played together this weekend. They lost to Preston North End. But Josh Sargent has had a phenomenal go there. And again, Norwich loves him. That's how you can tell. The final one is Jesus Ferreira, just finished his MLS season. Recently named the best player under 22 years of age. He's just 21. Had 18 goals for Dallas. Dallas finished 11th last season. They finished 3rd in MLS. So growth, development, playing there with Paul Arriola. Let's keep your eyes open for the MLS haters. Just keep your thoughts open here, all right? Ferreira's going to make it. The question is, does he start? And I don't think so. I think there's another option for him because I'm trying to get all 4 of them on that roster. And this is how I think it will work. Ricardo Pepi was called in by Greg Berhalter to this September camp when he scored no goals. So clearly, Greg Berhalter feels Ricardo Pepi works well in his system. He started the second game. Josh Sargent didn't start the second game. Jordan Pefok wasn't brought in. Jesus Ferreira started the first game. I truly believe, when in form, confident, based on what happened in qualifying, Greg Berhalter wants to start the Wales game with Ricardo Pepi. So let's put him there because it's trending in that direction. If he keeps scoring goals like this, how do you resist a guy that's perfect for your system, has all the attributes of a center forward, mobile, all of that? He is, we're very fortunate to have a player like that in the system as a teenager still. So I think that's the guy you start at number 9. That's his job. Jesus Ferreira could be there. Now, Ferreira is valuable at maybe one of those 3 front positions, maybe a little tucked behind. In the game against Saudi Arabia, when he came in, he pressed the Saudi goalkeeper multiple times and made 3 or 4 turnovers in the U.S. attacking third. He can do that. That's why he's super valuable. Paul Arriola does that, but Ferreira has the wherewithal and can maybe get you some goals. I know that is the argument on Jesus Ferreira. He doesn't finish. But as I said in past videos, no one else is getting chances. He is helping create and helping arrange chances. He missed both of them. He had the best chance on goal against Japan. He had the best chance on goal against Saudi Arabia. Remember, he had the 4 goals against Grenada. He could have had 8 goals that day. It was insane. So he plays a role. Could be a perfect super sub, but it has to have Ricardo Pepi going for him to go to that position. You bring him in there for 30 minutes and he presses. He turns the team over and he can get those goal scoring chances. I would rather have missed goal chances than no chances at all. Does that make sense? I know Josh Sargent didn't play a lot. Ricardo Pepi played first, started the second game, but those guys didn't get anything in front of goal. Jesus Ferreira constantly does. All right, so there's a place for him. I'm trying to accommodate everyone here, so bear with me. The third one is Jordan Pefok, and I don't think he plays a lot, but you bring him. You bring him because there will be a time you might be chasing a game. Hopefully the crosses get better. We're not really strong at that. Our set pieces aren't really good either. But in a chance where you're chasing a game and you may need 10 minutes here, he could play 30 minutes in this World Cup. But those would be pivotal ones. Maybe you need another big body defending set pieces. He certainly fits the bill. And if you want to play 2 forwards, you have that option. So it's a practical, resourceful approach for Jordan Pefok. Probably doesn't play in the first game, probably doesn't play in the second game unless something weird happens, and then maybe you find some time. Maybe he doesn't play at all, but you at least have it in your pocket. I think that's valuable. I think that's valuable to Greg Berhalter, and I think he's going to flesh that out, especially if Pefok continues to demand being on the roster. And the public has spoken, there's no doubt about it. Jordan Pefok is at the top of the list, number 1 of guys who haven't been called in that should be. Fair? Don't say John Brooks. John Brooks has played 10 minutes since the end of last season. It's not John Brooks. Joe Scally's kind of in that area because of what he's doing, but he's a baby. He's just a baby. But he has a shot here too, but we're not talking about fullbacks. So there you have, luxury player, second forward to come in. Josh Sargent, he would be the one that misses out, I think, in my book. I think maybe in Greg's book. He got a little taste in September. That was to see and he didn't get extended, so maybe there's something there. But Jordan Morris is there, Josh Sargent. Jordan Morris, you need some experience there. He's had some goals in U.S. He's broken down a bit because of the injuries. I think you can get that from Josh Sargent at a younger age if you want to get younger. And if you want to go 2 forwards with someone who can press from the outside, Josh Sargent has that experience as well. He can kind of double down and be an additional luxury player. I think Pepi, Ferreira would be those guys that would normally start and come in, and then Pefok in a unique circumstance, and then the same with Josh Sargent. And the reason it works is they're all not number 9s. So you take away a guy who would probably be considered a winger, attacking winger. It's a tough business, right? This is going to be tough when we go through all of this, and it's going to be hard when these World Cup rosters are announced. It is every 4 years, and some guys make it and some don't. This is their biggest dream. This is what you play for. And to be that close must be frustrating. I know when Laurent Simon, was like the last player cut for Belgium when he was playing for LAFC ahead of 2018 World Cup. Well, I was there with him and talked to him. It was tough to watch. This is the World Cup. So be considerate. By the way, these coaches don't get any joy in doing that. Having to tell this guy and this guy, no. There's probably 6 or 7 guys right on the fringe that think they probably are making it and then they don't. I mentioned Jordan Morris. He's been called in every time. Can you imagine that conversation? That's tough. Let's support these guys. Even if you don't think they should be on that team, let's support them. And let's find some goals. Because, by the way, I think our defense is pretty good. I was talking to Alexi Lalas on the podcast. I said, I bet you the U.S. gets through to the round of 16 and they score 2 goals. Beat Wales 1-0. Maybe lose to England 1-0, 2-0. And then tie the Iranians. Because if you have those 3 points going in, Iran, you might just need Force them to attack. If they attack, you might get some goals. But they could get through on 2 goals. That said, let's get some more goals. It's looking good. Excellent from our players. Let's see if I can run through our top 5 very quickly. Number 5, I will go put Josh Sargent there, even though it was a defeat. Very nice to see what he was able to do. Number 4, we'll go Christian Pulisic. Christian Pulisic was able to get into the game and get that goal and exhale a little bit. Exhale a little bit. Number three, I am going with the hard-charging return of Cameron Carter-Vickers. Got back in there and played. By the way, James Sands and Malik Tillman not playing for Rangers. Not good for either one of those two. Number 2, we'll go with... This is a tough list. You know what? I'm going to get back to this. All right? We'll get back to this and we'll have a proper conversation. But my number 1 was going to be... You know what? I'll finish it. Number 2, Austin Trusty. 2 goals for Birmingham in the championship. And number 1, Ricardo Pepi. I kind of shoehorned that in there. The Soccer OG. Check out the Soccer OG podcast where all podcasts are available. Like and subscribe us here. And we'll talk to you very soon. This will be fun. We're in the final stretch.